Have you ever noticed that some people walk into a room and immediately capture attention without saying a single word? They don't demand attention. They don't chase approval. They don't try to impress anyone. Yet somehow, everyone notices them. People respect them, trust them, feel drawn toward them. And the strange thing is that this kind of attractiveness has very little to do with physical appearance. The world has convinced us that attractiveness is about perfect features, expensive clothes, luxury cars, or endless displays of confidence. We are constantly told that if we want people to admire us, we must become louder, flashier, and more visible. But the Stoics understood something completely different. They knew that the most attractive qualities are invisible. They understood that true magnetism is born from character, from self-control, from emotional strength, from inner peace, from the ability to remain calm in a world that constantly tries to provoke you. Today, we are going to explore the qualities that make a person instantly attractive without saying a word. These qualities are timeless. They worked 2,000 years ago. They work today. And they will continue to work long after trends fade away. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and join our growing community of people seeking wisdom, strength, and self-mastery through Stoicism. Now imagine two people standing side by side. One is desperately trying to gain attention. Every action is calculated. Every word is designed to impress. Every decision is influenced by what others might think. The second person is different. Calm. Centered. Unshaken. They don't seem concerned with being liked. They don't appear obsessed with proving their worth. And because of that, they radiate something powerful. Freedom. Human beings are naturally attracted to freedom. Not the freedom of doing whatever you want, but the freedom of not being controlled by the opinions of others. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He knew that the person who becomes a slave to approval can never experience true peace. Think about how much energy people spend trying to gain validation. They alter their personalities, hide their true thoughts, pretend to be someone they are not, all in the hope that others will accept them. But the result is often the opposite. People can sense desperation. They can feel insecurity. They may not consciously recognize it, but they feel it. And nothing is less attractive than a person who has abandoned themselves in order to please others. The Stoics taught that your worth does not come from applause. It does not come from attention. It does not come from popularity. Your worth comes from your character, from your actions, from your integrity. And when a person truly understands this, something remarkable happens. They stop performing. They stop pretending. They stop chasing. Instead, they begin living authentically. And authenticity is magnetic. People spend their entire lives searching for genuine individuals. Because genuine people are rare. Most people wear masks. Most people are afraid to reveal who they really are. But the individual who embraces their true self becomes unforgettable. Not because they demand attention, but because they no longer need it. This quiet confidence creates an energy that others immediately notice. You can feel it when someone is comfortable in their own skin. You can sense it when someone is no longer fighting to prove their value. Their presence becomes peaceful, grounded, strong, like a mountain that remains unmoved during a storm. And perhaps this is one of the greatest paradoxes of life. The moment you stop trying to make everyone like you is often the moment people begin respecting you. The moment you stop chasing admiration is often the moment admiration arrives. Because true attractiveness is not created through effort. It emerges naturally when a person develops inner strength. Another quality that instantly makes someone attractive is emotional control. Look around the world today. People are constantly reacting. Anger spreads in seconds. Arguments explode everywhere. Small inconveniences become major crises. A single negative comment can ruin someone's entire day. A minor setback can destroy their confidence. Many people live at the mercy of their emotions. But the Stoics believed that real power begins when you learn to govern your inner world. Imagine two people facing criticism. One immediately becomes defensive. Their face changes. Their voice rises. Their emotions take control. The other remains calm. They listen. They think. They respond with composure. Which person appears stronger? Which person appears more attractive? The answer is obvious. Calmness is powerful. Self-control is powerful. Emotional stability is powerful. Not because it makes you cold. Not because it makes you emotionless. But because it demonstrates mastery. Anyone can react. Few people can remain composed. Anyone can lose control. Few people can maintain discipline. The Stoics understood that the person who controls themselves possesses a strength that cannot be taken away. External circumstances may change. People may criticize them. Life may become difficult. But they remain steady. And there is something deeply attractive about steadiness. People are exhausted by chaos. They are surrounded by uncertainty. Surrounded by drama. Surrounded by emotional instability. When they encounter someone who remains calm despite challenges, they feel safe. They feel inspired. They feel drawn toward that person. Because deep down, everyone wants peace. And those who embody peace naturally attract others. Think about the individuals you admire most. Chances are they possess a certain emotional maturity. A certain composure. A certain ability to remain centered when others are falling apart. That quality cannot be purchased. It cannot be faked. It is developed through discipline, through reflection, through practice. And every day presents an opportunity to strengthen it. Every insult becomes a lesson. Every frustration becomes training. Every obstacle becomes an invitation to grow stronger. The Stoics viewed life itself as a classroom. Every challenge was a teacher. Every setback was an opportunity to build character. And character is infinitely more attractive than appearance. Beauty fades. Youth fades. Status fades. But character endures. Character becomes visible in how you treat people. How you handle adversity. How you respond when life becomes difficult. And those moments reveal who you truly are. The world often celebrates external success. But people remember internal strength. They remember the person who remained kind when it was easier to be cruel. They remember the person who remained humble despite success. They remember the person who stood firm in their values when everyone else compromised. These are the individuals who leave lasting impressions. These are the individuals who become truly attractive. Not for a moment, but for a lifetime. There is another quality that quietly transforms a person's presence. Silence. Modern society fears silence. Many people fill every moment with noise. Constant talking. Constant posting. Constant explaining. Constant proving. But the Stoics recognize the hidden power of silence. A person who is comfortable with silence demonstrates confidence. They are not afraid of empty space. They are not desperate to entertain. They do not feel compelled to justify themselves. Their silence communicates strength. Because silence often reveals self-possession. When you constantly feel the need to speak, you may unknowingly signal insecurity. But when you can remain quiet, observant, and thoughtful, you project wisdom. People become curious. They pay attention. They listen more carefully when you finally choose to speak. The person who speaks less often carries greater influence than the person who speaks endlessly. Because words gain value through restraint. The Stoics understood this. They believed that wisdom begins with listening. And listening is increasingly rare in today's world. Most people are waiting for their turn to talk. Very few are truly present. Very few are truly listening. But the person who listens deeply makes others feel understood. And being understood is one of the most powerful human desires. People may forget what you said. They may forget what you did. But they rarely forget how you made them feel. And when someone feels genuinely heard, they remember it. They appreciate it. They value it. This creates a quiet form of attraction that runs far deeper than physical appearance. It touches the human soul. And the soul recognizes authenticity. It recognizes wisdom. It recognizes strength. That is why Stoicism continues to resonate after thousands of years. Because it speaks to something timeless within us. The desire to become stronger, wiser, calmer, better. Not for the approval of others, but for our own growth, for our own peace, for our own fulfillment. And ironically, when you pursue those things sincerely, people naturally become attracted to your presence. Not because you are trying to attract them, but because genuine self-mastery is rare. Very rare. And rare things always stand out. Rare things always stand out. Not because they demand attention, but because their very existence is uncommon. And in a world overflowing with noise, distractions, and constant competition for attention, a person who possesses genuine inner peace becomes impossible to ignore. There is something extraordinary about someone who does not need to prove themselves. Someone who walks into a room without seeking validation. Someone who knows who they are. Someone who has made peace with themselves. Most people spend years chasing external achievements, believing that happiness and attractiveness exist somewhere outside of themselves. They believe the next promotion will finally make them confident. The next relationship will finally make them feel complete. The next accomplishment will finally make them feel worthy. Yet many discover that even after achieving what they wanted, the feeling doesn't last. The applause fades. The excitement disappears. The hunger returns. The Stoics understood why. Because true confidence cannot be built upon things you can lose. Anything that depends on external circumstances is fragile. Money can disappear. Status can vanish. Beauty can fade. Popularity can change overnight. But inner strength remains. And nothing is more attractive than a person whose confidence comes from within. When you meet someone who genuinely respects themselves, you notice it immediately. They don't need to dominate conversations. They don't need to exaggerate their accomplishments. They don't need to constantly remind everyone how important they are. Their confidence speaks for itself. And perhaps the most fascinating thing about true confidence is that it is usually quiet. Insecure people often try to appear powerful. Secure people simply are powerful. There is no performance. No mask. No endless need for recognition. Only presence. Only certainty. Only calm strength. This kind of confidence is developed when a person keeps promises to themselves. Every time you do what you said you would do, your self-respect grows. Every time you choose discipline over excuses, your confidence deepens. Every time you face discomfort instead of running from it, you become stronger. The Stoics believe that character is built through repeated action. Not through motivation. Not through wishes. Not through dreams alone. But through consistent choices. Small choices. Daily choices. Choices nobody sees. The decision to wake up early. The decision to remain calm when angry. The decision to be honest when lying would be easier. The decision to stay disciplined when temptation appears. These moments seem insignificant. Yet they quietly shape who you become. And over time, they create an aura that others can feel. An invisible strength. A silent attractiveness. A quiet authority. People often ask how they can become more attractive. The answer is rarely found in changing your appearance. It is found in changing your habits. Because your habits become your character. And your character becomes your presence. Your presence enters every room before your words do. People feel it. They may not know why. But they feel it. Have you ever met someone whose presence immediately made you feel calm? Someone who seemed grounded no matter what was happening around them. Someone who appeared completely comfortable being themselves. That feeling is powerful. And it cannot be manufactured. It comes from inner alignment. From living according to principles. From knowing that your actions match your values. Many people experience inner conflict because they live one way and believe another. They know what they should do. Yet they avoid doing it. They know the truth. Yet they hide from it. This creates tension. And tension eventually becomes visible. The Stoics taught that peace comes from living in harmony with your values. When your actions reflect your beliefs, something changes inside you. You become lighter. Stronger. More confident. More authentic. And authenticity is one of the most attractive qualities a human being can possess. People spend enormous amounts of energy pretending to be successful, pretending to be confident, pretending to be happy, pretending to be someone else. But pretending is exhausting. Sooner or later, the mask becomes too heavy to carry. The Stoics encouraged radical honesty with oneself. Not self-criticism, not self-hatred, but honest self-examination. They believe that growth begins the moment you stop lying to yourself. The moment you acknowledge your weaknesses. The moment you confront your fears. The moment you accept responsibility for your life. This kind of honesty creates tremendous strength. Because you no longer waste energy maintaining illusions. Instead, all of that energy becomes available for growth. And growth is attractive. Not perfection. Growth. People are inspired by those who continually improve themselves. Not because they are flawless, but because they are evolving. The willingness to grow demonstrates humility. And humility is another quality that instantly elevates a person's attractiveness. Modern culture often confuses confidence with arrogance. But the Stoics understood the difference. Arrogance seeks superiority. Confidence seeks self-mastery. Arrogance depends upon comparison. Confidence depends upon character. Arrogance needs an audience. Confidence exists even when nobody is watching. The arrogant person constantly needs validation. The confident person generates validation from within. And people naturally gravitate toward those who possess genuine humility. Because humility feels safe. Humility feels authentic. Humility allows others to breathe. There is nothing attractive about someone who constantly needs to be the smartest person in the room. Nothing attractive about someone who must always be right. Nothing attractive about someone who views every conversation as a competition. True wisdom recognizes that there is always more to learn. The Stoics were among the wisest individuals in history. Yet they approached life as students. Every day was an opportunity to learn, to improve, to become better. That mindset creates endless growth. And endless growth creates endless depth. Depth is attractive. Depth separates meaningful people from superficial people. Anyone can discuss trends. Anyone can repeat popular opinions. But depth requires reflection. Depth requires introspection. Depth requires courage. Because looking inward is often uncomfortable. It forces us to confront truths we would rather avoid. Yet those truths become the foundation of transformation. The person who understands themselves possesses an advantage few people ever develop. They understand their triggers, their fears, their weaknesses, their strengths, their values, their purpose. And because they understand themselves, they become difficult to manipulate. The world constantly attempts to influence you. Advertisements influence you. Social media influences you. Public opinion influences you. Fear influences you. But self-awareness creates freedom. The more you understand yourself, the less control external forces have over you. And freedom is attractive. People admire those who cannot be easily controlled. Not because they are rebellious, but because they are independent thinkers. Because they possess conviction. Because they have developed an inner compass. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire. Yet he constantly reminded himself not to become dependent on praise. Not to become intoxicated by power. Not to lose sight of what truly mattered. He understood that external success means very little if you lose yourself in the process. Many people gain everything they wanted and still feel empty. Why? Because they neglected their inner life. They focused entirely on external achievement. But neglected wisdom. Neglected character. Neglected peace. The Stoics believe that the quality of your life depends more on your mind than your circumstances. And perhaps this is why some individuals remain attractive regardless of age, regardless of status, regardless of appearance. Their attractiveness comes from something deeper, something timeless, something rooted in who they are. Not what they own, not how they look, not what others think of them, but who they have become. And becoming is the true journey. Not acquiring. Not collecting. Not impressing. Becoming. Every challenge you face is shaping you. Every disappointment is teaching you. Every hardship is refining you. The Stoics never viewed suffering as meaningless. They understood that adversity reveals character. Anyone can appear strong when life is easy. Anyone can appear calm when nothing goes wrong. But difficulties expose the truth. They reveal what is genuinely inside a person. And those moments often become the most defining chapters of our lives. Think about the people you admire most. Chances are their greatest qualities were forged through hardship. Not comfort. Not convenience. Hardship. Challenges forced them to grow. Pain forced them to mature. Obstacles forced them to develop resilience. And resilience is deeply attractive. There is something inspiring about a person who has endured difficulties without becoming bitter. Someone who has suffered without losing kindness. Someone who has faced rejection without losing hope. Someone who has encountered failure without surrendering their dreams. These individuals radiate strength. Not the strength of dominance, but the strength of endurance. The strength of perseverance. The strength of grace under pressure. And that kind of strength touches people deeply. Because every human being is fighting battles. Some visible. Some invisible. When we encounter someone who continues moving forward despite life's difficulties, we are reminded of our own potential. We are reminded that strength exists within us too. And inspiration creates attraction. Not superficial attraction, but profound attraction. The kind that transcends appearances. The kind that leaves lasting impressions. The kind that changes lives. The Stoics understood that your greatest responsibility is not to impress the world. It is to improve yourself. Because when you improve yourself, everything else begins to change. Your relationships improve. Your confidence improves. Your mindset improves. Your future improves. Not overnight, but gradually. Consistently. One choice at a time. One habit at a time. One day at a time. And eventually you become someone who no longer seeks attention. Because you have discovered something far more valuable. Self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of true attractiveness. Without it, nothing else matters. With it, everything changes. The world may not always notice immediately. The applause may not come instantly. The recognition may take time. But the rewards are real. Because when you respect yourself, you stop settling for less than you deserve. You stop compromising your values. You stop abandoning your standards. You stop chasing people who do not appreciate your worth. And that changes everything. As we come to the end of this journey, remember this. The most attractive people are not always the loudest, the richest, the most popular, or the most admired. They are the ones who have mastered themselves. They walk with quiet confidence because they know their worth. They remain calm because they understand that not every battle deserves their energy. They listen more than they speak because wisdom grows in silence. They stay true to their values even when no one is watching. And they carry themselves with a strength that cannot be bought, copied, or faked. The world is filled with people trying to be noticed. Be the person who becomes unforgettable. Not because you demanded attention, but because your character spoke louder than words ever could. Every day you choose discipline over excuses, calmness over chaos, wisdom over impulse, and self-respect over approval, you become more powerful than you realize. The Stoics understood that true attractiveness begins within. It is built through patience, resilience, integrity, and self-mastery. These qualities never go out of style. They never fade with age. They never depend on trends or opinions. So as you move forward from this video, focus less on impressing others and more on becoming the strongest version of yourself. Become so grounded that negativity cannot shake you. Become so disciplined that excuses no longer control you. Become so confident that validation is no longer necessary. Become so wise that silence becomes one of your greatest strengths. Because when you master yourself, something remarkable happens. You stop chasing respect. You stop chasing attention. You stop chasing admiration. And somehow, those things begin to find you naturally. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this message resonated with you, if it inspired you, or if it helped you see yourself and your potential in a new way, please support the channel. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and join our community dedicated to Stoicism, self-mastery, personal growth, and timeless wisdom. Leave a comment below and share which lesson impacted you the most. And if you know someone who needs this message, share this video with them. You never know whose life might change because of a single insight. Until next time, remember, your greatest power is not in controlling the world around you. Your greatest power is in mastering the world within you. Stay strong. Stay disciplined. Stay stoic. And I'll see you in the next video.